The other premise I want to make is that there's an assumption, and I think this is also the assumption of the seminar, is basically saying that there is value in having more data, right? So we generate a lot of data so that we have more data to make policy decisions. And in that context, that there is value to this data. It's also good to know that there's sort of an information puzzle that we're moving in. And this puzzle comes from sort of these different layers, as you see in the graph, from these different layers that we are dealing with. So we have the institutional, legal, and political context in which we're operating. So each municipality or national government is operating in this context. So it's bound by certain frameworks and practices around data sharing. So that could be GDPR, but that could also be local or national decisions around data sharing and how that is implemented within that country. And then there's also needs to be a willingness and a trust to share data among different organizations and with the government or the municipality we're talking about. So that's something that's sort of an overarching idea. On top of that, we have different stakeholders. So Andre already alluded to this. So we have different technologies that are operated by different companies or stakeholders. So that could be the energy company getting data from a smart meter in a building. But we also have public stakeholders like the municipality and different teams within the municipality. And then we also have data expertise. So this might be a statistical office, for example, that collects data versus domain expertise. So people who are very familiar with the energy sector or the emissions with air quality, water quality. So we have a lot of domain experts that are also in this field. And then underlying this, hopefully, is sort of a data infrastructure where we have a lot of challenges around how to set it up, how to get it started, and also the costs with doing that. What's working usually really well, or well in relative terms, but what usually works is setting up this data ecosystem. So that's the idea that you research or you figure out what are the interdependencies between different stakeholders that are in the local context or even the national context, and then identify key stakeholders. So what that looks like when we set it up is basically you have data suppliers. So those are usually the distribution system operators, so the energy companies. You have data intermediaries. So these are often statistical offices or a land registry database where data comes together. And then you have data users, so that would be the municipality that has the goal of reducing emissions. And in order to make this sort of triangle of stakeholders work, you need trust and willingness to share the data and embed that with ongoing data practices.